His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON Swami Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivraja Acharya Aswata Sri Sriman. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki Mayapur Navadvip Dhama ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi ki Tulsi Maharani ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Sriman Mahaprabhu ki Shri Giriraj Govardhan Lal ki Srila Giriraj Swami Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsava ki His Holiness Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki Srila Prabhupada ki All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, and a warm, heartfelt welcome to all of you today to this wonderful, auspicious occasion of the Vyasa Puja of His Holiness Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj. It is with immense gratitude that we also welcome all of you for joining us here, as well as our special guests. We have our very homegrown His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Swami Maharaj. And a special shout out to our online audiences, a very gracious and loving embrace from the Shri Shri Radha Radhanath temple here of Durban, South Africa. To everyone online, thank you for joining us in our celebrations today. So to commence, I'm going to quickly give you a little debrief of how today's proceedings will unfold. First up, we'll have the reading of the meaning of Vyasa Puja, which will be read by His Grace Raghava Pandit Prabhu. This will be followed by our temple president, His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu, who will present an appreciation of Srila Prabhupada by Guru Maharaj. Thereafter, we will have the opportunity to hear from some of our esteemed senior devotees as they share with us their appreciation and offering to Guru Maharaj. This will then lead to the highlight of this evening's event, Guru Maharaj's address to all of us. And following this, we'll have the cake cutting ceremony, which will culminate with the Guru Puja to Guru Maharaj himself. So just a little housekeeping. It's an earnest request if you could all switch your cell phones onto silent, or perhaps turn them off entirely, just to keep with the mood of hearing and absorption so we can give our fullest attention to our speakers today. Just a request from the technical team to all our speakers. They will coordinate the mics, but if you could always speak in both mics, because this allows for optimum sound, and it also is attached to our webcam, so for visual quality for our various audiences. And when you're addressing Guru Maharaj, please feel free to, that webcam will be here, so please feel free to look directly into that one. And without further ado, I will ask His Grace Raghava Pandit Prabhu to lead us with the meaning of Vyasa Puja. Everyone should vote me. So I am Kamala Radha, a disciple of His Holiness Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj. I'm from Durban, South Africa, but I have been living overseas for many, many years, which is why Most of you would have recognized me since I was quite little. Hare Krishna.
Nama srestam manumapi sachiputram atra sarupam rupam tasya graham urupari maturim gustavatim radha kundam girivaram maho radhika madavasham rapto yasya pradita kripaya shri gurum tam natosmi Nama om Vishnupadaya Krishna pristhaya bhutale Prabhupada priya Shri Giriraj Swami Suvaktra sastra vigyaya drida sadhana saline Radharasa viharibhyam bhaktebhyas chatmadayini. So the meaning of Vyasa Puja. Vyasa Puja derives its name from Srila Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of Godhead and compiler of the Vedic literatures. Srila Vyasadeva received the teachings from Narada Muni, who was his spiritual master, and he was instructed by Lord Brahma. Puja means worship. So Vyasa Puja therefore means the worship of Vyas. Consequently, on the occasion of the appearance day of the spiritual master, special worship is accorded to him because he is the representative of Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasa Puja is a very auspicious occasion because the transcendental lifeline of the bona fide parampara system comes to us directly from Sri Krishna through the chain of disciplic succession. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna states in chapter 4, text 2, Ivam parampara praptam imam rajasayu vidu sha kalinaha mahata yogo nasta parantava. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears was lost. In his Vyasa Puja address in 1972, Srila Prabhupada wrote, so this Vyasa Puja means one day in a year on the birthday of the spiritual master, because he is representative of Vyas. He is delivering the same knowledge which has come down by disciplic succession without any change. He is offered the respect. This is called Vyasa Puja. And the spiritual master receives all honor on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not for his person. Just like in our country, when there was British rule, there was a viceroy, a king's representative. So naturally, when the viceroy used to go to some meeting, many people used to present valuable jewels just to honor him. But the law was that not a single jewel or contribution the viceroy could touch. It was going to the royal treasury. Similarly, this day, Vyasa Puja, whatever honor, contribution, and feeling is being offered to the spiritual master, it is, again, as we have received the knowledge from upwards, similarly, this respect also goes from downward to the upward. This is the process. So as the spiritual master is teacher of the student, he has to teach the disciple how to send back his respect and contribution to God. This is called Vyasa Puja. And how fortunate we are to be blessed with the association of His Divine Grace, Srila Giriraj Swami, for all these years. The very essence of what the scriptures are teaching us is so nicely embodied in the personality of Maharaj. If Srila Prabhupada's smile has been described as oceanic, I would say that Maharaj's smile is imbued with such love and compassion that thousands have become inspired just by his merciful glance on us. From giving a most erudite talk to embracing a Zulu chief, or to greeting a little child crossing his path as he enters the temple room, he continues to win hearts as he traverses the planet. I wish I could stand before you and read from my notes from his magnum opus, I'll Build You a Temple, but time doesn't allow for that. I sincerely hope all of you have read that book. And of course, to truly appreciate it, one would have to read it twice, unless one is a Shrutida. I would even venture so far as to say, if you don't read it before you die, 5% of your life was wasted. One Srila Prabhupada said, Giriraj is a diamond. I am a jeweler and my business is diamonds. One day he will shine. I think the day Srila Prabhupada was referring to was the day I'll Build You a Temple was launched. It's the day when the world appreciated Srila Prabhupada's most amazing comment. Bombay means Giriraj and Giriraj means Bombay. Bombay is like Kurukshetra and Giriraj is our Arjuna. I think Maharaj's most outstanding attributes are his love for the holy name and unflinching faith in Srila Prabhupada. One Srila Prabhupada asked a disciple, what was the most important verse in the Vedic literatures? And the disciple replied, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, it's Yasya Deve Para Bhakti, Yata Deve Tata Guru. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6:23. And aren't we already seeing this in Giriraj Swami? I would like to conclude by reading some extracts of a letter written by Srila Prabhupada to Giriraj Swami on December 28, 1971. It clearly shows how he saw Giriraj Swami and the faith he had in him. Number one, I am very pleased that you are such determined and enthusiastic devotee that almost single-handedly you are organizing Madras program and making life members. Two, I am very encouraged by a thoughtful plan to organize very nicely all our men in India. I can understand that you are eligible to be amongst the biggest leaders, so I have confidence in your Madras programs. Three, I am most pleased, especially to hear you are distributing my books. Go on increasing books and go on increasing my pleasure. You are doing very nicely in Madras, and except for you, I think there is hardly any devotee so hardworking and with such good ability to persuade men to help us. Dear Guru Maharaj, you are not just a living legend, but a forever alive institution within an institution. Humility personified, gentle to the core, deep-rooted in convictions and values, someone who eats, breathes, sleeps, and lives for anything and everything that equates to extolling the glories of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna. May you live long, forever healthy, inspiring your countless admirers. Na me bhakta pranasyati, declares Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. And that immortality has been attained by your divine grace. Your each spoken word is worth its weight in gold. Simple messages, short but potent sentences, and like sutras can take a lifetime to appreciate. Our eyes are forever searching for that ever-smiling face with a glowing forehead that shines brilliantly through the Vaishnav tilak. You are not just another sadhu. You are a walking, talking, smiling embodiment of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, enchanting countless devotees to throng around you like bees swarm a lotus flower. May I find a place at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna. Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Go Premanande.
gives me great privilege to call our temple president, His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu, who's going to read an appreciation to Srila Prabhupada by Guru Maharaj. Swarup Damodar Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is an excerpt of an article that His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj wrote very shortly after the disappearance of Srila Prabhupada in 1977. Towards the end of the book, I'll Build You a Temple, this piece is published there. It was done on the request of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami, and Guru Maharaj, very, as usual, very expertly crafted a very wonderful, thoughtful appreciation of Srila Prabhupada, very wonderfully delivering what Srila Prabhupada meant to him and to all the disciples and to the world in general. So this is an excerpt of an article written by His Holiness Giriraj Swami after the disappearance of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Kapanditastad aparam sharanam samiyat bhakta priyaritya gira suridha kritavya sarvan dadati suridho bhajato vikama atmanamabhyo pachaya pachonayasya. Who can surrender to anyone other than yourself, who is as dear, truthful, friendly, and grateful as you? You are so perfect and complete that even though you give yourself to your devotee, you are still full and perfect. You can satisfy all the desires of your devotee and even deliver yourself unto him. This is a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:48-26. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the most beloved personality, and Srila Prabhupada was just like him. We loved him as the dearest personality, the life of our soul. He came from the spiritual world to tell us of our real life with God and to show us the kindness of God. He passed so many days with us in this miserable world. He was a divine personality. He was not of this world. He was never of this world. He came to show us God. Everything about him was perfect, and his sublime presence demonstrated perfection in every respect. His beautiful body, his sympathetic face, his compassionate glance, his sweet words, his joyful smile, his appreciative eating, his profound voice, his peaceful resting, his ecstatic dancing, all were perfect from another world. He was everything to us, our mother, father, friend, companion, guide, master, child, life itself. How can we bear being separated from him? How can we tolerate such a loss? Now he has left us here to carry on his mission, waiting for the day when we will again be with him and have the chance to serve him personally. This is now a quote from the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 38. You are the life and soul of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So because you have left Vrindavan, all the servitors of your lotus feet there are suffering. It is as if the lake filled with lotus flowers dried up from the scorching heat of separation from you. Now Srila Prabhupada has given us a grave responsibility to carry on his movement in separation. He has invested us with his mercy to continue his great work, and we pray that we will be able to accept his divine grace properly. The whole world is feeling his absence, praying for his mercy. He has left a very insufficient vessel to carry that mercy, but still I pray that he will make me fit to carry his divine grace.
He was with us for so few years, we hardly had a chance to appreciate him. His every moment with us was full of life, but we were so dull we could not appreciate him, and suddenly he was gone. One devotee said that his appearance was like a flash. He came of his own sweet will to deliver us, and of his own accord he left. But future generations will note how his brief presence changed the entire course of history. I am not elevated enough to think of humanity. Mainly, I think only of myself. But I also felt that his appearance was like a flash, so brief, but it completely altered my life. Actually, he was like Krishna. Krishna's complexion is compared to a cloud, his yellow dhoti to lightning, and his merciful pastimes to rainfall. Similarly, Prabhupada appeared with his swarthy complexion, his saffron dhoti, and his loving exchanges, just to enliven our transcendental senses, to remind us of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of service to Godhead. When lightning flashes across the sky, the whole world is lighted in all directions. The dark night is illuminated, and we see the entire landscape of fields, trees, houses, roads, persons, everything. In this way, his divine presence showed us an eternal spiritual realm, giving us a vision of our real life, our real home, a transcendental world with kalpavriksha trees, chintamani stones, surabhi cows, and liberated personalities like him, all engaged in pastimes of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His electric presence sent a current through our hearts, and we will never be the same again. When lightning flashes across the sky, only a few people may see it, but soon thereafter, deep sounds of thunder rumble through the sky, and everyone hears them and feels their vibration. Although only a few may have been fortunate enough to perceive Srila Prabhupada directly, everyone is hearing the thunderous roar of his message, his books, his Vani, the big mridanga, the printing press, rolling on, vibrating everywhere. I will never die, he said. I will live in my books, and you will utilize. A sleeping person may miss a flash of lightning, but the sound of thunder will surely awaken him from his slumber. Similarly, although we were so engrossed in nescience that we could hardly realize who Srila Prabhupada was or what he came to show us, the thunderous vibration of his message of love is reverberating, resounding in our hearts. After the deep reverberation of thunder, the sky opens up and pours down rain. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada's rainfall of mercy is showering down upon the fallen souls. He opened our eyes with light and implanted the seeds of bhakti with transcendental sound. Now his rainfall of mercy is showering down upon us, giving water to the devotional creeper and helping it to grow up to his lotus feet. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. The instructions of the Acharya are always accompanied by his mercy, his helping hand. In May 1977, when Srila Prabhupada was thinking of leaving us, he commented, "The trouble is, you are all like children." When we asked if the father leaves the children, is that very good? He replied, the children will be provided for. And now we are experiencing how he is arranging for our care and maintenance, though he is invisible to our eyes. I may be going, he had told us, but Guru Maharaj and Bhaktivinoda Thakur are there. I have asked them to kindly take care of all of you, my transcendental children. The grandfather always takes care of the children much better than the father, so do not fear. He made us so attached to him that we cannot imagine living without him. Now we have to follow him back to Krishna. He gave us a taste of nectar, and now he has gone away. What remains for us to do? We can only chase after his footprints, shouting, Krishna, Krishna. Otherwise, what attraction did we have for Krishna? He came to attract us and free us, and now he has left us to lead us back to Godhead. When the rain falls, people collect it in pots so that they can later drink and distribute the water to others. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada has made receptacles for his mercy so that others may also drink. He has created Vaishnavas, sannyasis, Brahmins, gurus, all for the sake of distributing his mercy. The rainfall of Srila Prabhupada's mercy is inundating the entire universe. What is the value of our pots? Only to enliven us in devotional service, to free us from material absorption, has he given us so much responsibility for spreading his movement. I think this is what Krishna desires, he told us. I have come to you, but now in this old age, I may be going to Vrindavan, and you will be coming there to me, and be trained up, and we will spread this movement all over the world. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. We are eternally yours. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. His Holiness Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Shri Vyasa Puja Mahotsava ki. Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. We'd also really like to welcome in our midst another senior devotee, His Grace Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu, for joining us. Thank you for joining us for today's celebration. And now we'll move over to the appreciation and offering part of our program, where our senior devotees will share with us their reflections and their appreciation for Guru Maharaj. And I would like to start with His Grace Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu, if you could share your offering and your sentiments about Guru Maharaj with us. Thank you.
So I am going to sit here and you people adjust all your
Yes.
booms and mics.
Let's try our best.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. If we could all rise to welcome His Holiness Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. There's a camera issue.
Try and get a screen. I'll get a screen for you, all right?
Okay. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I first met you, you probably don't remember, but I first met you in 1972 in Juhu.
Okay.
And our accommodation was rather primitive at the time. That was, and I could see you were you accepted this great responsibility on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, and so we're all indebted to you. And Prabhupada liked Bombay. One time I told you, I said, I feel at home in Durban, and you said, I feel at home in Bombay.
Ramanuja Prabhu, could you just wait a minute? I want to make an announcement. I would like to request all the devotees on Zoom, as far as possible, to put on your cameras so we can see your moon-like faces, and it will be more personal. Okay, Ramanuja Prabhu, we're back to you.
So Maharaj was last here in 2009, and we had a Vyasa Puja celebration there for Maharaj. And I had compiled a list of letters, mostly from Srila Prabhupada, about Giriraj Swami. And later on, you asked Kunti to please get a copy for you. And different devotees have expressed their appreciation. These dates, these are from Prabhupada. And this Prabhupada was in Los Angeles at the time, the 5th of July, 1969. And he said, "My dear Giriraj, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated July 2nd, 1969, sent along with your beads. I have chanted on them, and your initiated name is Giriraj. Giriraj is the name of Govardhan Hill, on which Krishna used to tend his cows. In Vrindavan, the Govardhan Hill is worshipped as a representative of Krishna. Sometimes devotees take a stone from Govardhan Hill and keep it at home as a representative of Krishna, and they worship in this way. I'm glad to understand that you have at least relished some of the transcendental bliss of Krishna consciousness. It is a great fortune for you." The next letter was sent by Srila Prabhupada from Los Angeles. And this was 12 days later, in 1969. My dear Satsvarup, Satsvarup Maharaj was the temple president in Boston, where Giriraj Swami joined. My dear Satsvarup, I am glad that Giriraj is doing very nicely. Krishna has sent a good soul for pushing on this Krishna consciousness movement. Please keep him nicely. The next letter from Prabhupada, July, August, a couple of weeks later from Srila Prabhupada. My dear Satsvarup, I think Giriraj is a very intelligent boy. The next is from Tittenhurst. That was the estate of John Lennon of the Beatles, and the devotees were temporarily staying there, and Srila Prabhupada was also staying there. This was the 15th of October, 1969. My dear Satsvarup, you are also very fortunate to have an assistant like Giriraj. This boy has so quickly taken up the Krishna consciousness cause, and I'm very pleased with his behavior. And Giriraj is the right leader of the Sankirtan party. Then from Los Angeles, 7th of April, 1970, to Boston. My dear Giriraj, I am very pleased to note that you are feeling everything is going on nicely in Boston due to the nice devotees. You are also a very nice devotee. So together, work to make Boston Center even nicer for the satisfaction of the Lord. The next letter was sent from Bombay to Delhi, the 7th of November, 1970. To Delhi, my dear Guru Das, the remainder of your party, including your wife, may remain in Delhi under the leadership of Giriraj Das Brahmachari. The next is from London to Calcutta, 1971. My dear Giriraj, if you are feeling tired, you may take rest. Your body is very valuable, is dedicated to Krishna, so you must take care of the body very nicely. The best medicine is to rest and chant Hare Krishna mantra along with the doctor's prescription. Hare Krishna mantra is Bhavaushadhi, the panacea for all material disease. The next letter came 8 days later from London, from Prabhupada. My dear Tamal Krishna, in his last letter, Giriraj has informed me that he was sick, but since then I have not heard from him. How is he? I am anxious to know. His health should be taken good care of. He is an important worker and a good soul. The next came from Prabhupada from Calcutta, November 1st, 1971. My dear Advaita, you will be interested to know that here, Giriraj, with the help of one Bengali professor and John Greiser, the photographer, later Yadubara, they have published a very nice edition of Bengali BTG. The price also is not very high, almost on the level of Dai Nippon. The next was sent from Bombay, 28th of December, 1971, to Madras. My dear Giriraj, I am very pleased that you are such determined and enthusiastic devotee that almost single-handedly you are organizing Madras program and making many life members also. I am very encouraged by your thoughtful plan to organize very nicely all our men in India. I can understand that you are very eligible to be among the biggest leaders, so I have all confidence in your Madras programs. So I am pleased to hear from you that you are making many life members there. That is the proof of our preaching strength. Wherever there is preaching strength, there is also success. No matter it may be pandal show or making members traveling Sankirtan party, whatever it may be, just maintain our strong position of purity, of routine work, and preach and distribute literature. That's all. I am most pleased, especially to hear that you are distributing many books. Go on increasing books. Go on increasing my pleasure. You are doing very, very nicely in Madras. And except for you, I think there is hardly any devotee so hardworking and with such good ability to persuade men to help us. The next letter came from Prabhupada in Bombay. Just a few days later, 5 days later, to Madras. My dear Giriraj, I have read the text of your speech delivered to the Rotary Club. It is very thoughtfully prepared. Try to arrange as many speaking engagements like that and simply repeat what you have heard me say in lectures and in our books, and the spiritual effect will be very potent. I am very pleased with your preaching attitude. The next is from Bombay, 23rd of March, 1972, to Calcutta. My dear Giriraj, I am very glad to inform you that today we have laid down the cornerstone for our Bombay Center here in Juhu, and the ceremony was very wonderful with many important people attending. I am very much glad that you are doing so nicely in Calcutta by making many life members daily. So now I think you should join me in Bombay immediately as you are free after training up a competent replacement there. We have also a few days back laid the cornerstone for our Vrindavan temple. And besides, they have given me many more rooms at Radha Damodar temple for our use. So the program now in India is an immense task. So I am very much encouraged that you feel yourself enthusiastic to help me in this way by taking a bold lead for pushing on this movement here. I want that you should come here to assist Madhavisha by collecting profusely. And I think there's no difficulty here because there is such rich population. The next letter was written by Srila Prabhupada from Honolulu, the 15th of May, 1972. That was about a month and a half later. My dear Giriraj, I am sure you are a very good soul to act on behalf of Krishna and do it nicely. Krishna will give you the proper intelligence. He is sitting in your heart. Simply, he wants to see us working sincerely. The next letter came from Prabhupada from Bhaktivedanta Manor, that's just north of London, on the 23rd of August, 1973, to Bombay. My dear Giriraj, I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter and the nice Vyasa Puja offering you have sent to Satsvarup Goswami for printing in the BTG. Writing is a very important part of our work, and Satsvarup is also anxious to have new material from the devotees. For expanding the BTG, you have a nice talent for writing. Practice makes perfect, so continue it. It will be appreciated. The following is Srila Prabhupada wrote from Mayapur, 25th of February, 1976 to Bombay. My dear Giriraj, it is my intelligence and your cooperation that is working. There is a story of a man who was challenged whether he had any intelligence. Then he began to look in his pocket. When asked why he was looking in his pocket, he replied, If there is money, then there is intelligence. So you have gone so far to collect money and intelligently. But if there is no money, where is the intelligence? Both must combine. And then everything works out nicely. So the next comes from Chandigarh, which is Punjab. 14th of October, 1976. My dear Giriraj Prabhu, your preaching in the colleges is nice. Try to make some Indian devotees. The next letter Prabhupada wrote from Bhuvaneshwar, 31st. Oh, this is actually not, this is from Tamal Krishna. Tamal Krishna Maharaj. From Bhuvaneshwar, 31st of January, 1977. To Bombay. Dear Giriraj, yes, train the others in responsibilities in Bombay and go on as you are doing. As for your plan to invite university students to spend the weekend is very good. Do it. The next letter is from Tamal Krishna, from Vrindavan. August 24th, 1977, from Tamal Krishna Maharaj to Bombay. My dear Giriraj Prabhu, I read your letter dated 5th of June, 1977, which you had begun writing to His Divine Grace, to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada heard your unfinished letter with full sympathy. When you inquired from him whether the feelings which you are now experiencing are substantial or sentimental, Prabhupada said, may Krishna bless you. These are all the blessings of Krishna. They are not ordinary. Srila Prabhupada always keeps you within his heart, and I know how much he appreciates hearing from you as often as you like to write. So while he is overseas, I request that you write very often. As Prabhupada is always thinking of Bombay, the other day, Srila Prabhupada said, I was thinking, why have I neglected the West for so long? It is because I had to persist in Bombay. Actually, for the last 6 or 7 years, Prabhupada's main work, besides translating, had been the Bombay temple. So you must keep him continuously informed of all the advents and activities with full descriptions, photographs, and anything else you can send, which will allow Srila Prabhupada to see through your eyes. I pray that this meets you an ever-increasing Krishna consciousness, your servant, Tamal Krishna Goswami, Secretary to Srila Prabhupada. His Holiness Giriraj Swami ki, Founder Acharya of ISKCON Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki. Thank you, Maharaj, for all your wonderful service.
Well, thank you for that wonderful compilation of letters. It's very purifying and encouraging. Wonderful. Thank you for all your service.
Okay. Thank you very much. All glory to the assembled devotees.
I'll just go for a minute and I'll be right back.
I don't even know where he is.
So while Maharaj is away, can we please chant Maha Mantra in the meantime? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
So then you can start with the Mahaprabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Shri Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm going to address Guru Maharaj. Is that okay? Guru Maharaj, I'm going to speak to you. Is that fine?
Yes.
Maybe move this here because I can't see the screen. More? Is that okay? Good?
Yeah, very good. Let's see you.
Then I can also see the devotees in this. When I was compiling the book for Mother Kamala, we used to exchange letters on email. So, Guru Maharaj, if you remember that one time it was coming to choose a printer, and I wrote in the email, and we are consulting with a French Mauritian printer. And then you replied to my email by correcting it by saying Franco-Mauritian printer. So it may feel a very little thing like that, but there's an affection when you did that. You know, it's Franco-Mauritian, not French-Mauritian. And then you kind of introduced me to Haripriya to respond to her questions through you by your mercy and blessings. And then you were copied also in the initial responses. So I wrote a dear...
Excuse me, I should mention, Haripriya is a devotee, an aspiring disciple in Iran. Tehran, Iran. And I gave her the spiritual nickname Haripriya.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I responded to Haripriya, copied you, and I wrote, Dear Haripriya, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Prabhupada. Then you responded to both of us, and when you responded, the email comes with this two inverted brackets. That's what I wrote. But then I noticed you wrote, you didn't write, you corrected, Dear Haripriya, and you put a comma, which I didn't have. This is only two instances. There may be other letters over the years also. I'm not sure. Your devotees experience that when you write a letter, then you get a response from Guru Maharaj, and then some slight correction, not correction, but nicer. So I felt your affection in those exchanges, just with a comma and from French Mauritian printer to Franco Mauritian. I just thought I'll mention that. It is loving, I would feel. I feel that way. Then I'm going to change it a little bit because I read your offering to Srila Prabhupada for this year. And which is a few days ago, on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. I'm not sure how to say this, but I felt depressed. But it's like, it's sort of like positive depression for some reason, which I couldn't put my heart and consciousness, that they like pointed out clearly. Then it took a few days to sink in. Yeah. So I reread the offering again and again. And of course, that stands out that the mercy of Lord Nityananda is unlimited, clearly. And that's the personification of the form and consciousness of Srila Prabhupada to us. Yeah. And then I realized why I couldn't understand that depression can be positive. It was quite confusing for me first. Yeah. So the positive depression that I felt for days after reading the offering is that, how can you say that, you come from this background of, being hippies and, the stuff that was in the back. I was not happy about that. So I did some research prior to that. And I thought, no, this can't be. It may be your humility and so forth. I can understand that. But in reality, I don't feel it's like that. And I have evidence from Srila Prabhupada. It's not like that. I may have like a sort of transcendental disagreement with you. Because it affected me. And I can't see you in that light, but there's a reason why you took birth connected to Glencoe. We have a Glencoe here too, in northern town. And I just couldn't accept. It was very difficult for me. So there's various evidences. Then I wrote my Vyasa Puja offering after that to you, but I'll read the excerpt from Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada says something completely contrary to this. So I'll read that. So here in a room conversation on 16 February in 1977 in Mayapur, and Srila Prabhupada says, all of you are simply born because the mission was to be started. So it's your Vyasa Puja day today. He's saying simply born means appearance. So I'll read that again. All of you, you are simply born because the mission was to be started. Just like in the Yadu Vamsa. Now, you can imagine Srila Prabhupada is quoting, like giving the similarity or the same in relation to Krishna's associates. Now, that's not something just being born in America from that background. I don't feel that at all. So Srila Prabhupada says here, just like in the Yadu Vamsa, Krishna ordered all the devotee demigods to go to, and Prabhupada, like Krishna is speaking, Prabhupada says, go and take birth there to help me. And then Srila Prabhupada himself in relation to yourself, and including your illustrious God brothers and God sisters. And then Srila Prabhupada, similarly, you, which means yourself, were also born in Europe, America, to help this. Otherwise, you were devotees in your past lives. He writes like this. So that was my contrary consciousness when I read your offering. And then I see this, and this is practically in Srila Prabhupada's last year of his manifest presence with us, in February 1977. So you appeared in, I don't know whether it's Glencoe or near there. That's your home place.
Chicago.
But Glencoe in Chicago.
Yeah, Glencoe's a suburb of Chicago. I was born in Chicago, and then when I was 8 years old,
Yes.
the family moved to Glencoe.
Okay. Now
From
it's
Chicago.
there. So it's quite clear that you were born there to actually appear to join Srila Prabhupada. It's not otherwise, as I am when I read the offering. It's not really otherwise in that sense. So certainly, it's clear. Certainly, you are an eternal associate of Srila Prabhupada. That's very, very clear. Not only life after life, but Srila Prabhupada descended from Goloka Vrindavan through the disciplic succession also, correspondingly. And you may have descended for that purpose also amongst us. Hard to fathom it, it's too deep, but Prabhupada gives the evidence right here that he also has appeared in a different place in America and helped him in his mission, and definitely eternally that's the connection. And I feel so blessed and by your merciful nature that you have connected me also to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki, and
Hi, wonderful, beautiful.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, everyone. Our next speaker will hand you back to our temple president, His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu, who will give us his offering. So Swarup Damodar Prabhu, if you could please join us.
Hare Krishna very much.
Hare Krishna.
I just want to express my heartfelt appreciation to His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami for that very wonderful quotation from Prabhupada's expressing the transcendental position of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. And it is something, in some ways, that my offering to you, Guru Maharaj, this evening is also based upon. But Maharaj presented it in such a wonderful, eloquent way that mine is simply going to, in some small way, support it. So thank you, Maharaj, for that very wonderful, wonderful presentation. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Perfection in discipleship is simply to consider oneself an instrument to be wielded by the desire and will of the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada invested his entire life in preparation for the mammoth task his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, asked of him. With immense, unwavering faith and determination, Srila Prabhupada journeyed all around the globe many, many times. He endured much austerity, tolerated many adversities, and sacrificed so much in the service of his Guru Maharaj. When accounts of selfless and unflinching service to the spiritual master are enthusiastically recounted by the denizens of heaven, and even the eternally liberated devotees in Vaikuntha and Goloka, the example of Srila Prabhupada's divine surrender and spirit of service will be deemed exceptional in nature. But how can we separate Srila Prabhupada's dear disciples from his effort? Quickly subscribing to the immense and exciting mission Srila Prabhupada fashioned for them, Srila Prabhupada's disciples plunged themselves into an amazing, exciting life to chase rhinos with the Swami, racking up achievement after impossible achievement for his satisfaction. And what was Srila Prabhupada's satisfaction? Just to see the devotees happy. They were serving Krishna, chanting and dancing in kirtan, relishing prasadam, sharing the transcendental glories of Krishna. They were happy, and this made Srila Prabhupada happy. Just as bhakti, a devotional service, Bhagavan, and the Bhakta cannot be separated, so too do we similarly consider and appreciate Srila Prabhupada, his dedicated disciples, and his mission together. These are inseparable. At his wonderful talk at Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja recently, His Holiness Parthasarathi Das Swami highlighted the following excerpt from the Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 17, verse 1, purport. Quote, actually, the body of a Krishna conscious person changes in many ways. Even in the United States, when our devotees chant on the street, the American ladies and gentlemen inquire from them whether they are actually Americans, because no one could expect Americans to become such nice devotees all of a sudden. Even Christian priests are greatly surprised that all these boys from Jewish and Christian families have joined this Krishna consciousness movement. Before joining, they never regarded any principles of religion seriously, but now they have become sincere devotees of the Lord. Everywhere, people express this astonishment, and we take great pride in the transcendental behavior of our students. Such wonders are possible, however, only by the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. They are not ordinary or mundane. Srila Prabhupada takes great pride in the transcendental behavior of his students, his disciples whom he loved so much. If Srila Prabhupada's happiness could be apportioned, I confidently venture that a significant portion of his happiness is in taking great pride in witnessing how you, Guru Maharaj, have faithfully served him with unwavering determination. Surely it will remind him of his own AKH type service to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. From Srila Prabhupada's pastimes is shared by many senior devotees like Satsvarupa Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Hari Sauri Prabhu, and others. It is so clear that you developed into a pure instrument to be used by Srila Prabhupada from very early on in your pastimes with him in this lifetime on this planet. You very quickly caught on and bought into his desires and sacrificed your life for the fulfillment of his desires. Yesterday, I listened to His Grace Mahaprabhu express that he is convinced that because of the desire of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, many devotees, eternal associates of Srila Prabhupada, appeared to assist in Srila Prabhupada's mission. And very often, His Holiness Bhaktichara Swami emphasized the same point. As a disciple, one would expect that I would naturally feel that you, Guru Maharaj, are definitely one of those eternal associates of Srila Prabhupada. I am very easily convinced of this. It is not just because I am your disciple, but your service accomplishment speaks volumes, and a world of sincere, non-envious devotees testify similarly. Besides the volumes of amazing service you have offered in the mission, your character, your simplicity, your integrity and humility also serves Srila Prabhupada in an instrumental way. It is so clear that you have no separate existence except for living to love Srila Prabhupada, for living to share your love for Srila Prabhupada with others, and to give Srila Prabhupada to others. Many years ago, probably 25 years or more, my very dear senior godbrother, His Grace Sundarananda Prabhu, shared with me an experience he had while serving you, Guru Maharaj. I think it was in Delhi that this pastime took place.
Who was it? Who shared that?
Sundarananda.
Sundarananda Prabhu.
Visiting there after some years of absence, many devotees lined up to meet you. Many of them were pained in some way or other and hoped that their time with you would pacify their hearts. Sundarananda Prabhu told me that each of those devotees concluded their meeting with you feeling peaceful and comforted, as if the heavy burdens were lifted off their shoulders. The amazing thing Sundarananda expressed was that you hardly said anything to most of them, and yet they left the meeting feeling so much lighter. When he asked you about this, you replied that as they were all sharing their challenges, you were praying intensely to Srila Prabhupada to bless them, to guide them, and to give them mercy. Guru Maharaj, your prayers are legendary. I have encountered so many devotees from all over the world who have been touched by your pure instrumental connection with Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, you are a pure instrument of Prabhupada. You are perfect in every way, and that is what we are eagerly gathered here to honor this evening. Ebe Yash Kushut Tribhuvana, may your glories be spread all over the three worlds. Your eternal servant, Swarup Damodar.
Wonderful, beautiful. I'll go for a minute again and come back.
We could please chant Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Before we continue our program, we'd like to honor His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj, who's joined us on the live stream. So can we give 3 Hari Bols for Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj?
Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. To continue with our program, we'd like to call upon Jarikanda. She's the granddaughter of His Grace Lokabandhu Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji, from stellar devotees, advisors and mentors to us from here in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa. Jarikanda.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Durgame Patime Nidhasya Shakalat Patagatermuhu Swakripa Yastidhanena Shantastav Avalambanam. My path is very difficult. My feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. Hare Krishna Maharaj. We find ourselves in the age of Kali. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that this age is a place, or it's an iron age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So everything, does it seem so bleak? Does it seem so gloomy? But if we reflect more and we think more, we realize that even though we are in this age of Kali, we are amidst as Parthasarathi Maharaj always says, we are amidst the Prem Yug within Kali Yug, the time where Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda have come personally to spread the rays of this benediction moon and establish the holy name in the hearts of everyone that they encountered. We celebrate Srila Prabhupada, who continues this line of spreading this grace of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And today I celebrate my very dear mentor and teacher, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, who carries this benediction moon of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, this victory flag that is carrying so much of grace to everybody. You are one of the favorable winds of Srila Prabhupada that carries this grace to everyone. And it is described in the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat that shivering, shedding tears, hairs standing on end, and other ecstatic symptoms appeared without end, for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu personally resides in their bodies. So today I celebrate the saint in my life, in which Lord Caitanya personally resides within you, my dear Srila Giriraj Swami. Recently, I was speaking to my spiritual master, and he described that within our lives that we can create different ripple effects, either a ripple effect of sense gratification or pleasing the senses, or we can create a spiritual ripple effect that can carry us to the lotus feet of the Lord. And within my life, you have been one of the strongest spiritual ripple effects that carries me to grace and pulls me out of the doldrums of my weak mind. Thank you so much. King Pratap Rudra so intensely wanted to take darshan of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, but because he, had the role of being a king, the Lord, didn't allow an immediate darshan. So by the mercy of the devotees and Lord Nityananda, they came up with the plan, and in the gardens of the Gundicha, disguised as a poor person, King Prataparudra went to the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya and exclaimed, Gopi Bharta Badakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa. Hearing this, the Lord was pleased immediately and shared his favorable glance. You, dear Maharaj, carry this principle in everything that you do. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai, Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. In everything you do, you carry this mood of serving everyone you meet with so much of love and affection. We notice this in your walks along the beach with the people that you encounter, and you so kindly give them a taste of Krishna consciousness. We notice this in all the devotees' lives that you touch, with how personal you are. So many people, I met one of my god sisters in Europe, and she said she's never met you, but she looks forward every year to your birthday wish on Facebook and your comments and your warmth. This is just, it's so magical, the personal touch you have in so many people's lives. Recently, Barshabanabi Mataji wrote on the disciples group how there was no hot water, and you personally called and tried to make arrangements so that all the devotees are comfortable. In this way, you serve not only the devotees, but everybody you meet by trying to make their Krishna consciousness more comfortable and giving them a spiritual space to grow and thrive in this bhakti process. Embracing everyone regardless of the level that they're at. Parthasarathi Maharaj recently described in his offering to Srila Prabhupada that he has this meditation from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that he recites every day, that Bada or Chota, small or big, no matter who the devotee is, no matter who the person is, we should offer all respects. And thank you for teaching us this principle. It warms my heart all the time. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 9:22 says, Ananyas chinta yanto mam ye jana pariyupashate tesham nitya viyuktanam yogakshema vahamyaham. In this verse, we see this principle of yogakshema vahamyaham, how the Lord personally takes part in taking care of his devotees. And we all know the famous story of Arjuna Acharya, who was contemplating this verse and thinking, how can the Lord personally come to take care of his devotees? But the Lord came and he made it clear that no, this is the principle. And I see this so clearly in your life, how Krishna takes care of you at every step so personally. The way in which you're first meeting with the devotees and how you serve them, and you all went together in that car to Srila Prabhupada, and immediately offering your obeisances, you said, my journey is complete, I found my master. The way in which you won that good fight and built the most beautiful Juhu temple, the residence of Shri Shri Radha Rasbihari. The way in which you have such strong sadhana, and by the sadhana you inspire all of us so deeply. The way in which, in my own personal life, you play such a big role to such a fool. My gratitude to you is endless. Thank you so much. I steal a little in the words of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a poem that he wrote. And he says, O Sharagrahi Vaishnav soul, thou art an angel fair, lead me on to Vrindavan and spirit's power declare. There rests my soul from matter free upon my lover's arms. Eternal bliss and spirit's love are all my chanting charms. When I think about this, Shri Vrindavan Dham seems very distant. But if I think a little harder, the manifestation is not so distant because Shri Vrindavan Dham resides within the heart of its pure devotees. And Shri Vrindavan Dham resides within your heart, Maharaj. So by your association, we are so blessed that we are always associating with the Supreme Lord in his holy land of Vrindavan. And not only the Supreme Lord, but Srila Prabhupada. Your close connection with Prabhupada allows us to understand that this process is so meaningful and it never stops, even when the spiritual master departs. This is not a very easy time for all of us as disciples of His Holiness Kadambakanana Swami. But by hearing hearing everyone and hearing how this connection is never lost and how it continues, and especially in the beginning of the program when Swarup Damodar Prabhu was reading about some of your words to Prabhupada that describes how this connection always continues, it leaves so much of hope. And thank you so much for that. And my Guru Maharaj told me recently that I may be going, but one of the people I'm leaving you with is His Holiness Giriraj Swami, and he's your spiritual constant in your life. So thank you so much for being that for me. With love, your daughter, Jarikanda Sevakidasi. Hare Krishna.
It was very moving and touching. I pray that I can be worthy of your Guru Maharaj's faith in me, and I do my best for you.
Hare Krishna. So our next speaker to do the next offering is one of the leaders here in Durban. He's Grace Meeta Krishna Prabhu, who is a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. So we'd like to call Meeta Krishna Prabhu to say a few words.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am very excited and happy to be part of the Sri Vyasa Puja celebrations today. And I thank your disciples for inviting me. I'd like to read a little poem. It's not as philosophical as maybe some of the other presentations, but just a simple offering from my heart. The body of ISKCON sages all know the nectar of devotion from Srila Prabhupada did flow to and through his favorite son, Giriraj. Maharaj, to whom my Krishna consciousness I owe. The first Guru benedicted me with Vapu and then astute Vani. Deep, thoughtful and deliberate, always compassionate and considerate. In my early days, from challenges I faced, your disciples sheltered me in their loving embrace. I felt your love through them and gained many a friend who still today help me in many ways. While I lived with your disciples in the Phoenix Center, from where I expressed in a letter how we were working together. And you replied, this is the Vaikuntha mood to cooperate together for the service of Srila Prabhupada. A critical instruction by your mercy, I understood. I saw that when you and my Guru Maharaj associated, I saw that when you and my Guru Maharaj associated. A solid bond of love emanate from the depths of your heart, elate. I tried that mood to emulate, but extraordinary as such emotions only from those hearts filled with devotion. I'm convinced that all of you have come from the spiritual sky, although that in your humility you may deny. Though there may be more to recall, I relate one more for the joy of all. Once in a sentimental way, after reading an instruction that a devotee should dance for joy when receiving a spiritual master's incisive correction, I wrote to you that Maharaj, the nectar of your chastisement me not to deny. To that letter, I did not get a reply. Soon after, though, in South Africa arrived, and you saw some new Vyasa arrangements at Radharanath temple contrived. Your displeasure was plain to see when you entered you stopped in your track and walked to me, where I was seated on the floor, asked, what is this and why has it changed from before? To make some excuse would be futile. Your mood then was far from the oceanic smile. You gave me what I asked for in the letter. I got the Guru's mercy. I certainly didn't dance then joyfully, but I think thereafter I focused much better. Thank you, Maharaj. Though you may be far, I hold you close. I listen to your lectures and read your posts, and thus you always remain in my life as my guiding star. Hare Krishna.
That was beautiful, wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
I can't find anything to chastise you about in your poetic offering. In fact, one of the 26 qualities of a devotee is kavi, poet, and you have manifested that quality in your sweet offering. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Please always give me your guidance and your shelter. Hare Krishna.
Oh yeah, one thing. My relationship with your Guru Maharaj. I always keep this photo. Behind me. Yeah, I don't think it shows in the camera the way it is now, but yeah. Thank you.
When you give your classes, we notice that. We have noticed, and that's one of the photos that demonstrate this beauty of your love for each other. In fact, we got it up here on the poster also on one side of the temple.
Oh, nice. Good.
Hare Krishna. Thank you much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So next we have a very sweet audio recording offering from His Holiness Parthasarathi Das Goswami Maharaj. So Sudama Prabhu is currently setting that up. And following that, we've saved one of the best for last. We have His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj, who will share his sweet sentiments and reflections after we hear this audio recording. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
This is Parthasarati Das Goswami offering his respectful obeisances to His Holiness Srila Giriraj Maharaj on the auspicious day of his Advent or his Vyasa Puja celebration.
I'm
South
hearing
Africa was blessed when Srila Giriraj Maharaj
I'm hearing the audio, but is there a visual? Oh, okay. All right, fine.
first made his appearance in this dark continent, which I think was about 1982. Over the years, I've developed or tried to develop a very close relationship with Srila Giriraj Maharaj, and he was very kind to me, especially in Vrindavan in the 1990s. I congratulate all his disciples on choosing him as their bona fide Diksha Guru, and I have no doubt that he can transfer the mercy or kripa of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara to his well-wishers, disciples, and followers. Amongst the active disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Giriraj Maharaj stands out as a shining beacon of Guru Seva, and I'm sure Srila Prabhupada would be very pleased and happy with his efforts to maintain and preach the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The Vaishnavas, especially his disciples, are looking forward to his trip to Vrindavan, Srila Mayapur, possibly Mauritius, and of course it would be very nice if he could make his appearance in South Africa. But then there's also health considerations. On this auspicious day, I offer my obeisances numerous times to his lotus feet, and I pray that I can be of service to him and also his loving disciples, and that one day I can please Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Gokishore, Srila Bhakti-Vinod, Rupa and Raghunath, to the extent that Srila Giriraj Maharaj has. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Giriraj Maharaj. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our Guru Varga, our Guru Elders, our Guru Parampara. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.
Very well. That was very deep and humble. as usual. I haven't really seriously considered coming to South Africa for a while, but hearing His Holiness Parthasarathi Das Goswami Maharaj's words, I'm taking it to heart and thinking, you know, I must do so. Try to do so at least. No, do so. Okay. I think to do justice to the next one, I'll go again for a minute and come back.
Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna. So now we'll like to have His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj to address us and share his sentiments and reflections in honor of our Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I hope you can hear me okay.
Very well. I can hear you very well.
Okay. Well, that's the main thing. Thank you. First of all, my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet, Giriraj Maharaj, my most humble obeisances on this auspicious, wonderful, and joyful day, and very significant day of your appearance. And I've been here for, half an hour maybe, and I've heard a number of the offerings, beginning, I think, with Swarup Damodar Prabhu's, and now the last was His Holiness Parthasarathi Maharaj, and they're just so wonderful, really amazing, and very appropriate, I thought, just really appropriate. So I'll say a few words. And I thought something out beforehand, so it's not just too kind of extemporaneous. I thought something out, and bear with me because it begins with me talking a little bit about me. I'm sorry to say.
We want to hear about you.
Anyway, before I became a devotee, or before I became a member of ISKCON and moved into the temple in London, I was looking for a spiritual master. I mean, I was confused in many ways, but there was this underlying theme. I need a spiritual master. It was really, really there as a constant idea. And it's a long story, but I ended up visiting our ISKCON temple, the Radha Krishna temple at 7 Berry Place in London, towards the end of 72. So I was looking for a spiritual master, and in I walked, and there was one brahmachari there, and I asked him, "Are you a spiritual master?" He looked at me. Anyway, he gave me a look, put it that way. and he said, "You look very spaced out." And he walked away. Really, that's what happened. It was anyway, that's what happened, yeah. So then I was so much looking for a spiritual master, it didn't really affect me that much, or it didn't really affect me. And then Subhag Maharaj, he came down the stairs, he was resident there, and I asked him if there was a spiritual master, and he said no, and he was very nice to me and took me into the temple room and preached to me. And anyway, so then over the years, well, I didn't have much personal association with Srila Prabhupada at all. I mean, I did actually have a little, but not much at all, really. And, through the years, in terms of the most senior devotees in London, the GBCs, first of all, there was Shamsundar Prabhu, but he was serving as GBC just for a very short time. I mean, when I was there. And then he went off in some other direction. Then Hansadutta Prabhu became GBC. And this was early 74, I think. And, I got to know him to some degree. He was nice. He was, just say he was nice. Then the next one was Jayatirtha. And I really got to know Jayatirtha very well. And he was very pleasant to everyone. I know things didn't go well after a certain point in time, but while he was doing well, he seemed to do very good service, and we worked quite closely on some things, and it was nice. Then next was Bhagavan Das, and he had a certain nature, you could say very assertive type of nature, something like that, and very managerial. Jayatirtha was also very managerial, but in a more easygoing way. Bhagavan, yeah. So, but one thing, a really important thing for me, was that all of them, didn't really convey Srila Prabhupada to me. Like I said, I didn't have much association with Prabhupada, just a little. I mean, fortunately, he would come through London somewhat regularly, so we'd hear him give classes. But as far as actually personal association was very little. So anyway, these devotees, they had their moods. They were sincere in their efforts. but they didn't really convey Prabhupada to me. And I felt I was still looking for that. And then Giriraj Maharaj, you came along. Well, actually, you came with Bhagavan, but because of his assertive nature, I think you didn't really, you just let him take the lead. But then in 86, I think September, later 86, he also went off in another direction, and you became the sole GBC, and you were between South Africa and Mauritius. You know, you were present a lot, and you were very kind to me. You really were very kind to me indeed, in that you really gave me a lot of personal association. And your personal association, I mean, I had with Jayatirtha, Bhagavan, those two particularly, and Hansadutta to some degree. But your association is really very different from any of them. Not to sort of criticize them. I mean, at least when they were better, nicely situated in Prabhupada's service, but your association was just really different. And I understood, and it's clear in my mind to this very day, that it was Lord Krishna's arrangement, Srimati Radharani's arrangement, and Srila Prabhupada's arrangement, that I was able to get your association, the association of someone who really did get a lot of association with Prabhupada and really absorbed it. I mean, took it deeply into your heart. And, you know, I've said it on a number of occasions at these types of programs, how you relate situations to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, how he dealt with some similar situation in a certain way. And, you know, when I saw you doing this, you know, your whole style, your mood was very different. I mean, Jayatirtha was gentle, he was a gentleman, but still, I mean, your mood was also very much a gentleman, but you were so rich with Srila Prabhupada. You were just so rich. I mean, you are so rich, but at that time, you know, when we were together, like oftentimes on a daily basis, dealing with this and that, and I was present when you'd meet with devotees on many, many occasions, and you'd counsel them. And I would, you know, I'd really try and listen very carefully. And I really, honestly, I appreciated at that time, I really appreciated that so much. And like I said, to this day, I know, I would say I know it was Krishna's arrangement to let me have the association of Prabhupada, which I really, really wanted, but I didn't get much. And it helped me a lot, and it helps me to this day because, you know, I'm also dealing with situations, and oftentimes I remember how you did so, particularly when Bhagavan left that time in late 86, and I had tried. You were not present right at that time. You came shortly afterwards, not long, but a little bit afterwards. And I was trying to preach to the devotees in Joburg to help them. But I could see that their condition was such that I wasn't able to really reach their hearts so much as their hearts needed to be reached. But when you came, and again, I was with you when you were counseling. I remember Harinam Chintamani, Vishaka Priya. I was there, and I remember listening, and I remember seeing the effect on them. And it's just a fact that it benefited them greatly and stabilized them to carry on, as happily as possible under the circumstances. So anyway, that I wanted to say, and, I don't want to take a lot of time, but if I can, I'd like to mention a couple of little points which are not known. They're not known to, I think, any others pretty much, because I think I was pretty much the only one present with you at the time. I remember when some devotees came from Mauritius to raise funds for the temple in construction there. And one lady, Sue Devi Dasi, came. And we went to the airport, you and I, and we picked her up. I don't know, I don't know if there was anyone else. I think perhaps not. And then we came back to Muldersdrift, and it was already late. It was probably 9 or something. And, it was completely dark. So we got out, we parked the car, got out, and I opened the boot where her bag or bags were. And I remember you just came straight to the boot, took out her main suitcase, not a small one, and you just carried it off to her room where she was going to stay. And it really struck me, your mood of service like that. It really struck me. You didn't say anything. You just came around, pulled out the bag, walked off with it to serve. I'm pretty sure at that point she was a disciple of yours. It really struck me. Another one, and this is a little amusing one, but it's one which is really imprinted in my heart, is we were in a festival, one appearance day, one of the bigger festivals, not Janmashtami, but one of the bigger ones in Radharanath Temple. And the program ended in the evening. The program ended and it was raining outside. So prasadam was served in the temple room itself. And you and I were sitting right up by Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa. In fact, you were next to Prabhupada, the closest, and I was next to you. And then the devotees were all sitting down, and the servers came around with buckets and served in that way. So we're sitting there, and the servers started coming around, and put some prasadam, some preparation on your plate, then on my plate, and then they moved down the line, and then the next one came. And you had received, I would say, servings of 2, maybe 3 preparations. And suddenly, I don't know if you remember this, suddenly you jumped up to your feet. We were sitting on the floor. You jumped up to your feet. And you said, "I'm tired of being served. I've had enough of being served. I want to do some service." So the devotee who was carrying around the bucket of the preparation, you just took it out of the devotee's hand and served. And I thought it was really nice. I mean, it was really very sweet and profound and just such a genuine Vaishnav expression. So the last thing for now is, well, maybe not quite, but anyway, is thank you very much for the book about Srila Prabhupada in Bombay. I read it cover to cover. Every day I would read more. And that's just very valuable, really valuable. I didn't appreciate Prabhupada's service in Bombay. I mean, I did to some degree, but not nearly as much as I did through reading that book. It really opened my eyes, actually, to Prabhupada's service in Bombay. So thank you very much for that. We are going to meet, Hare Krishna, by the grace of God. I believe the idea at least is we'll meet in Vrindavan. And then according to the plans, we're going to meet in Mauritius. That's very nice, in December. That's really nice, very nice. So, okay, now, last but not least, I have a little present for you, just a little present, but it's a nice present. And as I understand, I may be wrong, but as I understand, it's going to be presented to you right now, I think. At least I was told that. So if it's happening, happy birthday, happy Vyasa Puja Day. And I hope this little present is something that you'll find nice and you'll be able to utilize and maybe even get a little inspiration from in your service to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Can I take the present out of the bag?
Oh, well, yeah, I was hoping you would have already done so.
Oh my gosh. Oh, how perfect. Yeah. One side is Govardhan Hill with some cows, and then the other side is Govardhan Shila. Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll definitely cherish it and use it and get inspiration from it. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a happy wait.
His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that heartwarming discussion. On that point of sharing Srila Prabhupada, I remember after Srila Prabhupada left, some devotees were saying that the best way to glorify Srila Prabhupada is to preach, which is true also. But I thought and said, the best way to preach is to glorify Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, it's always so nice to do so. And yeah, share him with others. I mean, that was always my desire, to bring people to him. And yeah, I guess, yeah, you brought back so many nice memories. And I did a lot of praying earlier. I think Swarup Damodar Prabhu mentioned about how devotees were coming to meet me, and I just listened and I didn't say much, but they all ended up feeling much better and lighter and happier, and so he asked, how did I do that, or how did that happen? And I said I was praying for them. And yeah, I do that a lot. I've been doing it this whole session. And yeah, Srila Prabhupada's very kind. So I'll come back in a minute. I think, am I expected to speak next, or what's next?
Yes, Gurmaj, the next will be for you to address us and give us your association through your words, please.
Okay, I'll come back in a minute and do that. And thank you to His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj, deeply, core of my heart.
Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Gurmaj.
Hare Krishna.
So now we will have the address from His Holiness Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj, the guest of honor and the highlight of today's evening. So Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai. 2 days ago, the Juhu temple observed the Vyasa Puja of me and His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj, which they do often because our birthdays are very close to each other's. And I read the transcript of a talk that he gave when he came for my Vyasa Puja in Carpentria, California. That year was September 23rd, 2001. And I would like to read what he wrote, because he makes many important points It was, I guess you could say, his appreciation on my Vyasa Puja then. But he makes many important points that I feel I would like to share with you. Yeah, they're very important. So we are here not by our good qualities, not by our pious credits, not for any reason, but that His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, came here and blessed us. He exposed us. He opened our eyes, our darkened eyes, and He exposed us to this transcendental knowledge, transcendental culture, transcendental way of life. And He is continually guiding us and encouraging us. We all belong to Srila Prabhupada's family. He is our father or our grandfather. He is our friend, our guru. His mercy is all that we are made of. Prabhupada's books are there, his tapes, his lectures, ITV. But my feeling is that we need something more than all these things to push us over the edge into the divine realm. We need association with a person who is a servant of Srila Prabhupada. And especially we are connected by the association or by the mercy or by the kindness of a Diksha Guru who acts as a surrogate. A surrogate is a substitute, not exactly substitute. Sometimes a man and woman are not able to produce a child. So another woman agrees to receive the seed of the man and a child is produced. She is called a surrogate mother. A better example is a viceroy. Now, just on the point of viceroy, in Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja addresses, he often gave the example of a viceroy, that a viceroy receives offerings that are meant for the crown, for the king or the queen, and he accepts them on behalf of the crown, but he doesn't keep anything for himself. He passes on everything to the king or the queen. And that is our mood during Vyasa Puja. Whatever honor or praise or appreciation is offered to us, we don't keep for ourselves, but we pass it on to Srila Prabhupada. And he passes it on ultimately to Krishna. So, yeah. A better example is the viceroy. But we need someone to show us Srila Prabhupada in action, in emotion. We are very much persons. We are emotional persons. We have intellect and we have emotions. And Bahunam Janmanam Ante. In the end, it is our emotional, devotional service, purified devotional service, loving devotional service, both to Guru and to Krishna, which will bind us. And that also reminds me of an exchange that Srila Prabhupada had with his disciple Guru Kripa Prabhu. And he asked Guru Kripa Prabhu, what is the most important verse in the Vedic literature? And Guru Kripa Prabhu replied, Harinama, Harinama, Harinami Vikevalam, Kalona Stevana, Stevana, Stevakatiran. And Srila Prabhupada replied, no. And then he quoted the verse that he considered the most important in the Vedic literature, which is Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyaita Katita Yartha Prakashante Mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So that verse is what Srila Prabhupada considered to be the most important. So now coming back to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj's talk, we have intellect and we have emotions. And Bahunam Janmaram Ante, in the end, it is our emotional devotional service, purified devotional service, loving devotional service, both to Guru and to Krishna, which will bind us. So we need to find a disciple of Srila Prabhupada who carries Srila Prabhupada in his heart and who will help us. He will share with us his love, his realization, his joy, his ecstasy, so that we also can be inspired. We need this, very important. And we find this person by our intelligence and by our faith. It is a business of the heart, very much a business of the heart, that we are attracted. And it is such a sacrosanct principle, sacred, and it is such a sacrosanct principle, disciplic succession, that we have to protect this principle. We have to involve ourselves to make ourselves recipients of that descending mercy. And we have to protect our right from all sorts of naysayers and envious persons and obstacles. So this may be an indirect reference to Ritveds or whatever other type of naysayers there are who discourage, to say the least, or decry devotees from taking initiation from Srila Prabhupada's disciples. We have to involve ourselves to make ourselves recipients of that descending mercy. And we have to protect our right from all sorts of naysayers and envious persons and obstacles. Of course, as I said, we are in a family and we have our Diksha Guru, but we are also not a personality cult. We have many people who help us in our spiritual lives. And wherever you find Srila Prabhupada in the heart of a devotee, you should bow down there wherever you find him and wherever you receive genuine shiksha. And I would like to reiterate this point and reinforce this point to my disciples. And I'll read it again. We have many people who help us in our spiritual lives. And wherever you find Srila Prabhupada in the heart of a devotee, you should bow down there. Wherever you find him and wherever you receive genuine shiksha. You can have many shiksha gurus. And of course, officially, people talk about receiving permission from your diksha guru to accept so-and-so as your shiksha guru. And that's well and true. But just as the first initiation does not become formalized until later, but appears first in the heart, similarly, whenever we hear anything nice about Srila Prabhupada, we can take it with joy and appreciate it. Yes, my dear devotees, please do that. In our family, it is a difficult time. Kali Yuga is such a difficult time. I am amazed how anyone can be Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada told us, you should not be surprised when someone leaves. You should be surprised when someone stays. So it is a difficult time and we are weak. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And we are bombarded with so many stimuli agitating our senses and mind. And we are surrounded by people who are suffering, who are in ignorance. And some of them are even belligerent or demoniac. So it is a difficult time, and we need all the help we can get. At least I need all the help I can get. And I try to get help from my God brothers. I really need their mercy. And I feel that way too. At least I need all the help I can get. And I try to get help from my God brothers. I really need their mercy. And I have many friends among my God brothers. But for me, since the very early days in Boston, 1972, 1973, Srila Giriraj Swami has been my Shiksha Guru. I'm not a very good disciple, but still he is my Shiksha Guru. I feel like that. And I hope that all of you will enjoy Krishna conscious life by following Srila Prabhupada and by following Giriraj Swami and all the nice Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis in ISKCON. One symptom of progress in devotional service is that one should become jolly, Brahmabuddha Prasanatma. Now, His Holiness Sridhar Swami got the nickname the Jolly Swami. So he should know. So one symptom of progress in devotional service is that one should become jolly. Brahmabhuta Prasanatma. One should become prasanna, joyful. Nasochati nakankshati. How will we give up our attachment to material life? By becoming joyful, jolly. Srila Prabhupada said a brahmachari becomes jolly. So you have to judge by the results. Everything about Krishna consciousness is wonderful. Every kind of devotional service. No need to be envious of anyone else for any kind of devotional service. Cleaning the bathroom for Krishna is so ecstatic. I offer my obeisances to the bathroom cleaners of Krishnas because they are wonderful devotees. In fact, some of our best devotees in Pakistan are Bungis. Recently, someone remembered me from Pakistan, Ranchor Lines. Giriraj Swami and I went there one time, and we preached to all the Pakistani people, to the intellectuals. But in Ranchor Lines, our Gujarati devotees come from that family, that line of bathroom cleaners. Whatever service you have, it is the service mood, the service attitude, that I am prepared to do anything to serve Krishna and serve his devotees. That will keep us happy and will help us develop that house that people talk about, where everyone can live together. But it is based on love and trust. A devotee is completely devoid. He has no interest in politics or even in polemics. So please carry on as you are doing. I know a number of you, and you can tell a tree by its fruits. You are all nice servants of Vaishnavas. For me, in my stage of life, if I have learned even one little lesson, it is dasa das anudasa. It means being the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. We often hear that whatever we find in the material world also exists in the spiritual world in its original pure form. So a little after Srila Prabhupada left, I asked his disciple Pradumya Das, who is Prabhupada's Sanskrit editor, that, whatever we find in the material world exists in its original pure form in the spiritual world. So what is the counterpart to pride in the spiritual world? And Pradumya Prabhu replied, this principle of dasa, 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 anudasa, that in the spiritual world, a devotee is proud to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, to be the last one in the line. He's proud that he has the most masters to serve. So, coming back to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, for me, in my stage of life, if I have learned even one little lesson, it is das, 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 anudas. Cultivate service to the Vaishnavas and you will get everything. We need a family in which we can love and trust one another and not fear. We have to preach to so many materialistic people, and their very aura is permeated with lust and greed and anger. And there is a possibility of getting infected. But if we can come to a community of friends, of brothers and sisters, where we love one another and care, I'm not talking of superficially saying something, but where we really care deep down inside that this person is suffering, even materially. Prabhupada cried when he saw people suffering materially in the world. Yes, I had one experience with Srila Prabhupada when we were riding in the car in Madras. And we came by a bus stop, and there were too many people to fit in the bus stop. And so many of them were standing in the hot sun. And Srila Prabhupada felt very sorry. He felt very compassionate. he commented, oh, they have to stand in the hot sun. So yeah, Prabhupada cried when he saw people suffering materially in the material world. So what to speak of exalted Vaishnava devotees? We should care for them and love them. This is our family. Thank you, Giriraj Swami, for being there for all of us, for guiding us. And thank you for producing so many nice boys and girls who are helping you in your preaching work and also preaching nicely all over the world, in India, in Africa. I pray that more and more books will be forthcoming from your wonderful, powerful pen, from your heart, and that people will. I'm just so eager because Giriraj Swami has a nickname. You may know it, but for those who don't, we call him Mr. Prabhupada Stories, because he is an ocean of Prabhupada stories. I have heard many of them over the years, but I want to hear more and more. And I know the nectar is coming. So please give us more and more books. And I'm happy to mention that just maybe 2 days ago, I finished writing my latest book, which is about traveling with Srila Prabhupada in India. And it covers, it has 13 chapters, and it covers visits to Amritsar, Indore, Surat, Bombay, Calcutta, Allahabad, Gorakhpur, Delhi, Madras, and Mayapur. So please give us more and more books. We pray that more and more devotees will come to your lotus feet and learn about how to become soft-hearted and pure. So I guess this was sort of a Vyasa Puja address. It was a combination of His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj's words and my own reflections and on his words and additions. And again, I mentioned the principle of the Viceroy, which Srila Prabhupada did in many of his Vyasa Puja addresses, that the Viceroy accepts offerings on behalf of the crown, but he doesn't keep anything for himself. He passes it all on to the crown. And so whatever kind appreciation you have expressed for me, I know that it's due to Srila Prabhupada, and I pass it on to him. And I pray for him to be boundlessly merciful to all of you and bring you to his lotus feet, keep you at his lotus feet, and engage in service to his lotus feet and the Vaishnavas and the whole parampara, the six Goswamis, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and ultimately Shri Radharanath. So thank you for coming together for this occasion and giving me your associations and encouragement. And I beg to remain your servant as in the mood of Dasa, 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 Anudasa. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for sharing those beautiful realizations and wonderful words and nectar to all of us. And may you continue to bless all of us and shower us with your mercy until all of us here in Durban, South Africa can see you again. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So the next part of our program, we're going to move on to the cake cutting ceremony, and we ask His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Swami Maharaj to offer Guru Maharaj the cake. And thereafter, this will lead to Guru Puja. And Guru Maharaj, with your permission, we would like to do the Guru Puja where we offer the flower petals directly to you, which in all entirety means offering it to the camera. So if that's okay with you, we'd like to do this.
All right.
Okay, so we'll just get set up. If you could please bear with us for 5 minutes while we set up the camera and the cake and the logistics. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Thank you. I'll also be back in a minute.
Okay.
She wanted me to hear what. I'll order more, so get more from everybody.
Gonna get you a mic, Mark.
Hare Krishna. In front of me is a beautiful and well-decorated Vyasa Puja cake.
Quite a cake.
Yes, it's right here. It's made by Atmapriya Devidasi.
Made by who?
Yeah, it's right in front of me. This here, this is the cake.
Oh, yes, focus more.
Yes. So I'm going to cut a piece on your behalf and offer it to you in the camera.
Okay.
Sing now. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare. Hare Rama. I think it's according to your diet. Okay. It's coming to you.
Yum. Yummy, yummy. Thank you.
Giriraj Swami Vyasa Puja Mahaprabhu ki. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yay!
Vaishnava Vrinda ki.
Yay!
Kamala, make announcement of Guru Puja. Come this way.
Hare Krishna, and now we'll get ready for Guru Puja, where Ishwara Puri Prabhu is going to redirect the camera so that all the devotees can offer flowers directly to you, Guru Maharaj, directly to the camera. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Mahaprabhu ki jai. everyone. Thanks very much. Love to Giriraj. Giriraj Swami Maharaj
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for your time and for your association and for allowing us to serve you in this small way. To the rest of the devotees, we're going to be off to take some prasad now. And for those of you who haven't had a look at our book table to my left here, there's all Guru Maharaj's books. So please take a copy for your friends, your family. And if you haven't read them, I want to say, where have you been? There's I'll Build You a Temple, Life's Final Exam, and Watching the Seed. So Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Would you like to lead us in Missionary prayers maybe just before we go to take prasad? Is that possible?
Do you have many moons? I didn't notice many moons.
No, I think they forgot to unpack that for us. I'm so sorry.
Sold out.
But we do have copies for anyone who wants them. Gurmat, would you like to lead us in Vishnadav pranams? Is that okay?
Sorry?
Would you like to lead us in Vishnadav pranams? Is that okay?
Yes. Srila Bhagavan Ki Jai. Srimad Maharaj Ki Jai. Prabhupada Ki Jai. For Premanande Hari People.
This is better.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for coming to the program. We truly appreciate it. Without you, it wouldn't have been a success. And I can see that you're still enthusiastic to dance another hour. It's okay? We would just like to thank the other devotees for helping the program. As usual, open the program. Our priest Rohinandan Prabhu and team, sound and setup and Shorapuri and Sudhama Prabhu, and for our beautiful cake, none other than Atma Priya, and our Nityananda Prabhu for coordinating, and also Radha Dasi and Kamala Sundari and team for garlands and all the others who assisted. Thank you very much. We wish to see you again. You can order some wonderful prashadam. And we have to thank our Guru Maharaj, the Giriraj Maharaj, for his deep insights into Prabhupada. Just talking about him this morning in my class also. Appreciated him and his depth in knowing Srila Prabhupada. So please take some of these books and read them. It'll be very beneficial to all of you. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Sri Maharaj Ki! Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, so we can bring the program to a close. Would you like to lead us in Vaishnava Pranam?
Yes. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Panchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.